Okay, so let's be honest.
Hmm.
Who hasn't spent, a little time daydreaming about reaching that financial freedom, right? That
Yeah.
point where you don't have to worry about money constantly and you can actually choose how you want to spend your time.
Right.
Well, on today's deep dive, we're going to be looking at Rich Dad's Cashflow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki.
Okay.
And this book claims that it can give you that roadmap.
It gives you a roadmap. And you know what? Even though it was written a while back,
Yeah?
it still is really popular with people, right?
Yeah.
Because it gets down to that like fundamental question. How do you actually build wealth?
That's such a good point. And I think we've all heard that, right? Like, work hard, earn more.
Exactly.
But Kiyosaki kind of throws a curveball. He's like, it's
Yeah.
not just about how much you earn, but it's how you earn it.
Right.
That really determines whether or not you're on that path to financial freedom.
Yeah. He's kind of like, the traditional way we think about money, there might be another way to look at it.
I like that. Another way to look at it.
And that's where his whole cash flow quadrant comes in.
Oh, okay.
It's really a way to visualize these different ways that people make money.
So paint a picture for us.
Okay.
What are we talking about here when we say cash flow quadrant?
All right. So picture, like a quadrant, one of those charts
Right, like from school.
like we all had in school.
Exactly.
Kiyosaki says that each of those sections represents a different way to earn a living.
Okay.
And so he talks about employees, self-employed or specialists, business owners, and investors.
So he's really segmenting like the entire working world into these 4 quadrants.
Exactly. And he goes deep, right?
Okay.
He doesn't just give you these labels and that's it. He talks about, the challenges, the
Yeah.
mindset, ultimately, like how much money can you make in each of these quadrants, right?
Right. Because let's be real, for a lot of listeners, they're probably most familiar with
Yeah.
the employee
Yeah.
and the self-employed, maybe specialist roles.
For sure.
Like, that's how most of us, I think, start out, right?
Absolutely. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
I mean, think about it, right? You have the stability of a paycheck every 2 weeks.
Yep.
If you're a freelancer, you have the satisfaction of like delivering that service and
Yeah, doing what you're good at.
doing what you're good at. Like these are all valid ways to make a living.
But this is where Kiyosaki kind of throws in, like, the reality check.
Yeah.
He calls it the time for money trap.
Yes.
And I'm curious, like, I know I've definitely felt that.
Mhm.
Regardless of what I was doing, it was like I was trading my hours
Yes.
for dollars.
For dollars.
And you only have so many hours in a day, right?
Exactly.
So it's like your earning potential is automatically limited.
And it's not just like you're hitting a ceiling on income. Right.
Yeah.
Think about like those vacation days
Yes.
that you're always trying to like, get.
Can I just get a week?
Can I get a week? Can I get 3 days?
Right.
Or like how you choose your career path.
No, that's a good point.
Sometimes it's like based more on security rather than your passion.
Right. That's a really good point.
So that trade-off, that time for money,
Mm-hmm.
can really like impact your life in ways you don't even realize.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And we're just talking about the E and S quadrants.
Exactly.
Kiyosaki then is like, okay, well, let's look at the other side,
Yes.
the business owner
Mm-hmm.
and the investor.
Yeah.
These are the people that have kind of figured out
They figured it out.
how to break free from that time for money.
Equation.
Yeah.
That's it.
So they're playing a different game now.
They're playing a different game.
It's like their money is working for them.
That's right. That's right.
But I think for someone who's, maybe earlier in their journey of like, their financial journey, I feel like that leap can feel
For sure.
huge. Like, I remember when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and I'm like, okay, I need to go buy real estate. It's like, whoa, hold on.
It can feel overwhelming.
Yeah, totally.
And that's where I think it's like, how can you adapt Kiyosaki's insights to where you're at right now?
Right.
So like, let's say you're working your 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I like my job. I don't necessarily want to quit my job and go start a business.
Right.
But could you negotiate like a performance-based bonus?
Okay.
Could you explore like profit sharing?
Okay, so like bringing that business owner
Nice.
mindset
And
into where you already are.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
And that's especially true if you are a freelancer, right?
Okay.
If you're in that S quadrant, Kiyosaki talks about how important it is to build systems
Yes.
to automate, because if not,
Oh my God.
you're just going to end up trading hours for dollars.
Which is so easy to do
It's so easy to do.
when you're a freelancer because you're like, well, I'm in charge of my own time.
Yeah, and you're like, I can work whenever I want.
Yeah, but then you end up working all the time.
Exactly.
Ugh, the worst.
But that's where I think, like, Kiyosaki brings in these actionable insights, right?
Okay.
He doesn't just say, like, work smarter, not harder.
Right.
He kind of goes deeper, especially when he talks about the investor quadrant.
Okay.
And he outlines 5 different investor types.
You know what? That was one of the most fascinating parts of the book to me, was that
Yeah.
he breaks it down
It's so helpful.
instead of just being like, investors do this.
Right. You just go be an investor.
Yeah. Like, what does that even mean? Like, what does that even mean? He breaks down the different approaches that people take,
Right.
which I thought was really helpful.
It can feel so intimidating.
Totally.
But when he breaks it down like that, you're like, okay, it's not about picking the right one. It's about, like, what feels most aligned with, like, how I want to do this.
Totally. And I'm curious for you, like, which of those investor types, because I'm sure you've thought about this, like resonated most with you.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, oh, I'm definitely like I'm a professional investor type.
I think for me, that's the one that stood out the most, too.
Really?
And I think it's because they're committed to, like, constantly learning
Yes.
and adapting, right?
Yes.
It's not just, like, blindly following the market or,
Right.
throwing money at something and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
It's like they're actively researching, analyzing, making informed decisions.
It's like taking ownership of your financial future instead of just hoping for the best. It's like equipping yourself with the knowledge and skills to navigate whatever
100%.
the market throws your way.
It's like Kiyosaki saying you don't have to be like a Wall Street, hot shot to be a successful investor, right?
Right.
You need to be willing to put in the work, educate yourself, and like you said, have a strategy.
Totally.
That's what I took away.
It's empowering
Yeah.
to feel like, okay, I can learn this.
Totally.
Like, this isn't something that's just like
Yes.
reserved for the,
The special few.
the special few.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's something that Kiyosaki, like, brings up throughout the book.
Right.
That financial education is so important.
Yes.
You can't just, like, dream of financial freedom.
Right.
You got to know how to, like, make it happen.
Equip yourself.
Yes, exactly.
And that's what I think is so cool about his approach.
Yeah.
Is that he makes it accessible. Like, you don't need an MBA to understand the importance of investing or, like, how to build a business.
Yes, and he gives you those basics.
Yeah, right.
So that you can then go and be like, okay, I'm going to go deep on this. Like, I want to learn more about that.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, right.
So even if someone isn't ready to, like, quit their job tomorrow and, like, go be a business owner or go be an investor full time.
Yeah.
Are there takeaways from the cash flow quadrant that you think people can apply right now?
Totally. Like, think about the professional investor, right?
Okay.
They're constantly learning, analyzing, making decisions.
Right.
That's a mindset that you could apply to anything.
To your finances in general.
To your finances, whether it's like, negotiating that raise
Yeah.
or just like how you do your budget every month.
Okay.
Or how much are you putting in your 401k?
Well, it's not about being proactive.
Yes.
Instead of just like...
letting it happen to you.
Right. Like, money's coming in, money's going out.
Exactly.
I don't know.
Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
But it's like, no, I'm aware of this.
I'm making decisions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that.
And you don't have to do it all at once, right?
Right.
Pick one thing
Yeah.
that you want to learn more about and dedicate like an hour a week to it.
Totally.
There are so many resources out there. And like you said, even just that 1 hour a week can make such a difference.
Exactly. Small steps over time.
I love that.
And that's it,
Yeah.
And who knows, maybe this is that little spark, right?
Totally.
This is what makes you rethink, like, how am I doing my finances? What does this look like?
What's possible?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
Love that.
So no matter where you are on your journey,
Yes.
remember, financial freedom.
It's possible.
It's totally possible.
Yes.
It's about knowledge, strategy, and action.
I love it. So what are you waiting for? Dive in.